Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for another episode of Third Shot. We've recently upped our podcast game and we've added video to our production. So, this means you can now watch us on YouTube and you can see Uncle Greg and Russ and all of our wonderful guests. So, hop over to YouTube, type in Third Shot Podcast, and give us a view, give us a subscribe, do all those things.
You're saying it like it's a good thing that they
Oh, it
can see
is.
it. Oh
Well, now
yeah,
I actually have to shower before and do my hair and all that kind of
Mm,
stuff. But yes,
yes, exactly.
honestly, sometimes we record like very soon after I get off the courts,
Mhm.
and I come off the courts and my hair is just all over the place, or I'm all sweaty and stuff like that, and I just have to allow a little bit of time now that we're doing video to clean up just a hair.
Right, right.
So I think it adds to the aesthetic though, it's pickleball. You just came from the courts. It's okay.
Really?
That's
I
true.
think so.
Yeah.
Well, Bridgie, you and I have had kind of an eventful day today.
We have, yes. But more so than any other Sundays. Normally I'm just like sleeping and chilling and not doing much. But this Sunday we had a very fun agenda item. Uncle, do you want to share what we got to do?
Well, going back, Bridgie and I kind of started this podcast journey because of the fact that we were cast on a pickleball reality television show. And it was a pilot program, and they filmed it. I can't even remember what month they filmed it, but it's been a while now. And we kind of haven't heard anything about it. We didn't know whether any networks had picked it up or what was going on. We didn't even get to see a copy of what they recorded and what they were filming for 3 days. But today, they pulled all of us together on Zoom and they actually showed us a 1 hour version of what they recorded on.
Nice.
It's called The Big Deal.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think it was October of last year. So it's almost been a full year since our recording of it that now we get to see what it was that they were doing and their magic that Russ kind of gets to do with producing. And it was really cool. And it was a lot of fun to see all of those people that we were being recorded with. And, we've seen a couple of them as you've been out here playing pickleball with me, like at the courts and things like that. But to kind of see our level as well of play, wasn't
Yeah.
that kind of fun to see? Because we got a little bit in there. We saw some of our playtime. And by some, I mean like seconds.
So I had a stopwatch going of how many times we were on screen
Oh, really?
during the 1 hour.
Oh no, how long?
0.22.
Oh jeez, that's not
That's
much.
funny.
That's not much.
Well, it wasn't much, but there was some action shots, like as Reggie was saying, and more
Mhm.
than anything, we saw the final four teams. They showed a lot of the final four teams doing the final matches, and I was texting Bridgie. Oh, I shouldn't say this, huh? But I was texting Bridgie while we were watching this, and I was
Yeah.
going, Bridgie, we've improved a lot. I think we would do well against these teams now.
Oh, right.
Yes.
No
Yeah.
offense to the four teams. I think you guys are all great. But I think Bridgie and I's game since October and doing this show has upped. I think we're better players now for sure.
I think so too. When you were texting me that, I was having similar thoughts. Like, I wonder what the turnout would be if all of us got back together, back on the courts,
Ooh.
not on a super windy day to kind of rematch one another and see where we would end up. Because, I do think that we've improved quite a bit, but I also think the other teams too have improved as well. I'm sure because they're out there playing still. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It'd be interesting.
it would be. And to be honest with you, watching this show was really well, let me put it this way. I didn't know some of the backstories of the players until I watched the
Mm,
show today. Like I just knew them through the 3 days that we spent together, but I never really heard why they got into pickleball or what pickleball means to them. And they did get featured for those stories on the full show, and I was like, whoa! I had no idea that was that was the reason why and what it meant to them. And, you know, I don't want to mess up the show, but it was really cool learning what pickleball means to a lot of different people.
So
Yeah.
was this just like, I mean, was this the whole show? This is it? This was a pilot? This is the season combined into one? Like, I guess, do we know what's going to be happening next with the show?
We don't know for certain. We did get a small update though at the end of the viewing party, and it was that they're still kind of looking for additional funding and shopping it around to different networks to see
Mm,
if it gets picked up. So, what they constructed from our recording was a pilot episode to show and hopefully get picked up by a network. So, if we do hear back, we will update everybody where they can watch our zero point 0.02 seconds of play, because that would be kind of cool. Or if we can like post a link to it if they make it public or whatever. But right now it's still kind of under wraps.
I think that would be like a YouTube short or a TikTok if it's just
A
for play.
YouTube short of the shorts.
Short.
YouTube very short.
But it was fun. It was fun kind of just remembering back
Yeah.
in October. And it seems like it was a long time ago. And it really hasn't been. October to now is only how many months, right? But yeah, our pickleball journey has really taken off since October. And it made me kind of reflect on that. It was really kind of neat. It was a nice time watching the video and thinking about what we've done with this podcast and our own games and everything that's gone along with, you know, meeting all of the pickleballers that we've met along the way, just in 10 months. It's crazy.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
less than 10 months. It's like 8 or 9 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That is so well, I guess, are we going to be able to see it? Like me, the general public, us non-stars, are we going to be able to see the pilot? Is it going to get like make it to YouTube or something like that? Do you know that?
They don't know yet.
Okay.
And hopefully they do put it on YouTube or some other sort of streaming service so that we can share it out. But as of right now, it's not viewable to the public.
Gotcha. I would
Us
guess
stars are the only ones who get to
exactly.
see,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that. I mean, it's so cool though, and I do hope that I get to see at least the 2 seconds that you guys were on. That's cool. Well, I remember hearing too, like all the stories back then when you guys were doing it about the different
Right.
people, and you guys shared. I guess you had some photos or something that you shared with me a little bit, or there was something that you shared with me. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
Right.
it'd be cool to see more and see the actual video. That would be neat.
It would be neat. And one of the people that got featured, you know, her backstory was Darla. And Darla was one of our first guests that we
Mm.
had on this show. She didn't talk about it on our show, but she talked about it, you know, on the Big Deal, the reality show. And it's a big time story.
Oh,
So
really?
yes,
So we gotta have Darla back on then, is what you're saying.
yes, yes.
Nice,
Exactly.
nice. Okay, well, uh, I've got a learning more question for you, but I mean, I almost feel like I should just ask you more about this because I'm learning about this little thing. But what I was wondering is because like I'm trying to talk my wife into playing pickleball with me because I figure like, okay, this would be fun, like a little thing, once the kids get back into school, like it's something we can go do. And most likely when the kids are in the school, like I'm figuring that there's going to be less people at the courts because there's a lot of kids there, a lot of teens and whatnot playing pickleball here. So maybe that'll clear up the courts a bit and we can get out there and we can play. I'm trying to sell her on this, right? Like, hey, this is going to be fun. I'm wondering though, do other sports, like if she's played other sports, does it translate well into pickleball? So that is my learning more question about playing other sports and what other sports, like Greg, you played baseball, Bridgie, I know you played soccer. Like what translates well into pickleball?
Well, a lot of people come from tennis,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very seamless transition, I think. But I did not grow up playing tennis. As Russ mentioned, I was a soccer player and a softball player, but primarily soccer. And I think the agility aspect of it has helped especially when trying to keep up with Uncle Greg playing singles. I'm able to cover the court a little bit better, I think, because of my soccer experience than before. So, like that
Right.
anticipation, like
Hmm.
knowing that you have to prepare your body for the next move or the next hit. Because, like in soccer, you would have to try to read your opponents and figure out where they're going to go and adjust to that. So, I think similarly with pickleball, it's obviously different, but you still have to have that anticipation of where's the ball going to go if I hit it to the right or if I hit it to the left. So being able to predict that, I think, has been helpful. I mean, I'm no professional, but it's helped a little bit. I think any sort of athletic background kind of lends itself to being easier time learning
Hmm.
pickleball.
Yeah, I think so as well. And playing baseball, when I was an infielder when I played baseball, and as an infielder, you're kind of trying to read the bat angle to see where you think the ball is going to go, which direction it's going to go, so you can get a good jump on the grounders or line drives and that type of thing. And I think that helps me when I'm at the kitchen playing doubles. You can kind of see their body positioning and you can kind of see their
Mm.
paddle positioning, and it helps me anticipate where they're going with the ball. I think that's been very helpful. And then also being a golfer, there's a certain body rotation
Mm.
that is very similar to pickleball, where in golf, I was always taught that your follow through, your belt buckle, if you had a belt on,
Hmm.
should be pointed towards your target, at the follow through. And it's very similar in pickleball. When you're hitting a ground stroke, your waist or your belly button or belt buckle should be pointed towards your target. So there's a rotational thing that comes natural to me in pickleball because of what I did in golf.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
does your wife play any sports growing up?
Well, there was a little tennis there that
Oh,
Oh,
good,
she used to
good.
play with her dad, and she like did track and stuff. So
She's gonna kill you, Russ.
I did
I know. I was
drama.
going to
I mean,
say, I
come
think
on.
she's got the edge.
Yeah, this is not going to be good. My next question might be something about how do I recover from being beaten so bad? I don't know. We'll see what that is on the next learning more question there.
Or
That's
like
funny.
therapy to help your ego, like getting crushed, by your wife. Yeah, and
Exactly.
it's the first time she's ever played.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
No, your game's coming along. You're gonna do just fine.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I'll report back. All right. So always learning something more on that other podcast. Over here, that question might come up again. I don't know. I'm
It
just
might
saying.
come up. It might come
Yeah.
up.
Maybe that was a good question.
It was. We have a guest, our youngest guest ever. I'm not gonna divulge age, but Kyle and his mother Jennifer are joining us, and he's going to share his journey as a young pickleball player. And I think he has played other sports, so we'll have to find out how his other sports are related to his pickleball career, his growth. So when we come back, we'll have Kyle and Jennifer Kelman. Thanks for coming back from break. You came back to Third Shot Podcast. Please check us out. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Just look for Third Shot Podcast, or on Twitter at Third Shot Pod. Right now, we are so excited. Bridgie and I have been talking to this pair for a while now. We have an up and coming player. Kyle Kelman and his mother Jennifer are joining us today. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're excited to have you both on our show. And I think, well, actually, I know at this point you are the youngest guest that we've had on our podcast. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
You might
tell
hear that
us,
a lot that you're the youngest, huh?
Yeah.
probably so. So, tell us, Kyle, when did you first start getting into pickleball and kind of what's your journey been like since then?
So, well, I have played tennis since I was 17 months old. And one day my mom just decided to take me out to the pickleball court. We had no idea what it was or how to play, and we probably did not play well at all, but we had
We
a
got,
great
say it honestly, we got smoked in 22 seconds.
yeah. There were these two really nice men who asked us to play a doubles game, and we agreed, and we lost 11-1, and it was still a
Well, you
great
got
time.
one. You got one. You
Right.
didn't get
It wasn't
pickled.
a
I got one. And my mom and I kept playing the next few months, not as much as we are now, but we enjoyed it and we kept going out and having fun. And I was still playing a lot of tennis and baseball, so I wasn't mainly focusing on pickleball. And then I started getting better and I started to take it more seriously, and I'm here now.
Yeah, you are. And how long have you been taking it seriously now?
Uh, Last 2 months, maybe.
Okay, so you're kind of just getting into it. You're taking it more seriously. If you don't mind, share with our audience, how old are you?
I am 14.
You're 14. And I'm guessing you're probably one of the younger players in the courts that you typically play at that's kind of taking it more seriously. And my question is like, we hear a lot of stories of, older players and all the reasons why they're getting into the game. But from a 14-year-old standpoint, what is it about pickleball that really interests you, has got you hooked?
I just really love the pace of the game. I love how you're able to speed the ball up and slow it down when you want. And I really love the community that's behind pickleball. Everyone is really nice and supportive, and I always just have a great time whenever I play, and that keeps me coming back out.
And
That's so good to hear.
I should also say that even though that day that we got smoked in 22 seconds was last August, and even though he'll be a little more humble about that, he's just now taking it more seriously. He's currently playing at probably about a 4.550 level already.
Wow.
And he is one of the youngest, if not the youngest, at the several places that he plays at. And it's at the point now where he can't really walk through the place without someone grabbing Kyle and saying, "You got to be my partner," whether it's an open play or just trying to trying to get on our court when he and I are duking it out in singles.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And leave it to the mom to be honest about the real skill level there. That's amazing
Right.
to hear. And thank you for sharing that with us too. Jennifer, what has your role been in Kyle's journey with pickleball? Do you play together? Are you a coach? What's your role?
So a little bit of everything. And I think when Kyle reflected back upon his initial love of tennis and starting at 17 months, he was in the house with a ping pong paddle at 17 months in a diaper, having 10-minute ongoing rallies against the wall with a ping pong paddle. And that's how I knew that he had the lovely athletic gene that exists in the family.
That's
And
crazy hand-eye coordination at that young
Right?
age, being able to
crazy.
rally with a
And
ping pong paddle that long.
he would go out on the courts at the Boca Raton in Boca Raton, Florida, with the director of tennis, Eric Silver, who's just an incredible force in his life as well. And Eric said, let's just give him 10-minute lessons at a time. And he was in his diaper and a pair of jeans, and 10 minutes wasn't enough. But we didn't push, we didn't do anything, like, oh, he's going to be the next. He was just going to enjoy himself. And then he also picked up baseball. I was his little league coach for many years. Um, and then transitioning to pickle, in addition to him working with Eric with tennis, I was also working with him as well. And then transitioning to pickle, it was just a natural fit because I've been so involved as an athlete myself, but also involved in his sports. So we study it together, we duke it out in singles, we work on game strategy, shot placement, um, and the strategy, especially for a 14-year-old, is is something, it's a beautiful thing to watch with him, because a 14-year-old can sometimes just desire to hit that ball as hard as they can. And he has moved away from that. And his dink game is phenomenal. His drop is phenomenal. And his ability to read and build a point is exquisite.
So Kyle, how would you describe your game? Would you say you're more of a singles player, doubles player? Do you kind of change your strategies when you're playing singles versus doubles? Tell us a little bit about what's going through your head and how you view yourself as a player.
Well, singles and doubles fill different spots for me. With doubles, I'm able to strategize with my partner, talk with another person mid game, ask them how I can improve my game at that moment. And singles, I'm with myself on the court, talking in my own head, strategizing with myself, and I own my side of the court. And I really love both games. They're really different, but I enjoy both. And I think that I keep my strategy in doubles and singles. I might change it a little bit, but I mainly stay on what my mom has told me, and that's brought me success.
That's
But the problem
great.
is sometimes he listens too well, so that when we are then duking it out, he uses the things I've taught him against me. And, you know, I applaud most of the time. There has been some muttering under the breath when he listens too well. But Kyle, if I can sort of interject and ask, tell them about your first tournament that you played in.
So last March, I played in a singles tournament and I played 3-0. I didn't know what level I was. I played in the 19 to 34 age bracket, and I was just out there. I didn't have a certain outcome I was looking for, and I ended up taking gold in that tournament.
Nice.
Congratulations.
That
19
away.
to 34, and you're
Yeah,
14 years old. That is incredible.
And he was
thank
13 at that time.
Oh my gosh.
And probably only been playing for a month or so, right? I mean, seriously,
yeah, yeah.
that's
Wow.
amazing. I mean, the
So what's
talent you must have. I've watched your videos and you are a fantastic player.
Thank you, thank you.
yeah, I was gonna
If
ask, what kind of training do you do to prepare yourself for a tournament like that?
I didn't
none,
really, yeah, none really. I didn't
Raw
train.
talent.
Yeah, I didn't train differently for that tournament. I just played with my mom. I played doubles open play, and I just listened to what my mom said and hoped that I would play the best that I could that day.
and I think the thing that we both agreed upon is that if we developed some training regimen or um, preparation for the tournament, that it could add a layer of pressure that I know I didn't want for him. And I just wanted him to go out, and he was playing with, new people, singles. He had to own that court on his own, and he was nervous. And I looked at him beforehand and said to him, I want you to look up the beautiful blue sky, the white puffy clouds. And there's sort of like this little idea that I put in his head and his twin sister Jordan's head, that to be out there is a gift, and that they're to give them some perspective that at that moment there are children around the world suffering, whether from illness or hunger or whatever, and what they would give to have that opportunity at that moment. So to think of that, if he were to get down on himself or upset, that it's such a gift to be out there, and that there was no outcome that he needed to end the day with. And whether that helped or not, of course, I hope it did. It allowed him to get through those 7, 8 hours of matches and win the tournament.
Yeah, I think that's a great message, Jennifer, because there's so many parents. Bridgie and I, we both grew up in very competitive sports environments, and our parents were very supportive. But you see so many other parents that are just pushing their kids so hard that you just see burnout, right? They're not gonna enjoy it anymore after a certain amount of time. And just having that good perspective on what this sport is doing for you and why you're out there and enjoying it. I think it's such an important message to all parents who have children that are, getting into the game of pickleball and wanting to potentially go more competitively. So I'm sure that
Yeah, and
probably
I
helps
just
you a lot, Kyle, just understanding that perspective.
Yeah, it helped me have a better perspective while I was out there. It helped me be happy on the court, even if I missed a shot. I was able to keep a happy and good mindset.
Yeah.
And Kyle, do you remember that woman that was staying there? There was this, he developed a crowd, and there was this one woman who looked at me and said, I was about to leave and go get drinks in town. I can't leave. Who is this kid? Who is this kid? So I said, That's my son. And she said, during the points, why am I more nervous than you? What's going on? And it was just, it was pure joy as a mom to see that in someone who didn't know him. His composure was just unbelievable. And it was, we got back in the car. We were both shell shocked. Like, what? You just won that thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, it sounds like you've got a lot going on your plate. I think we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back to hear more about what's in store for Kyle and his mom, Jennifer. So stick with us and we'll be right back. This is Third Shot Podcast, and we are back from break. Thank you so much for listening along. And today we are joined by Jennifer and Kyle Kelman, a mother and son pickleballing duo. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We love being here. It's so fun.
So before the break, Bridgie kind of led into like, what's next? Do you have anything planned? Are you just going to continue to train? And do you have any tournaments that you're thinking about? Or are you just going to play casually? What's next for you?
I'm going to continue what I'm doing now, playing singles with my mom, playing open play. I might join tournaments later in the year. We have no set plans for that, but I'm looking forward to whatever comes. Yeah.
I think because it's so hot, there aren't a lot of tournaments over the summer in Florida, but it should be picking up somewhat in October. So I will be stalking those websites and finding a few of them. And of course, we'll need to touch base with his school because, especially if he wants to do singles in addition to doubles, the singles always falls on a Friday. So we will have to see how the school allows us to structure that. But love to be able to put him in a few again, not with so much pressure, but just really for the experience of it. And obviously in a higher level than what he played in back in March. And, see how he does, see how he feels in it. And we just go from there. We take it day by day. Again, he doesn't have to be anything in this sport. He just has to enjoy it and do what he desires each day. So training, tournaments, open play, friendships, and time with his mama.
Yeah, and it's great that you bring that up too, is friendships, because as Kyle previously mentioned, pickleball is a great community and you do meet a lot of wonderful people along the way. So those relationships that you build are equally just as important to practice, camaraderie and things like that, that a lot of children sometimes miss out on if they're not involved in sports.
And I think, as a parent to watch him, especially because his level is so good right now that he's not really playing with kids his age. He's playing with adults. And as a mom to watch, 30 something year olds, 50 something year olds, Kyle, you got to come out there with me. And to see that camaraderie, it's heart melting to watch from afar. And when he goes in open play and he does his thing, it's beautiful. And to see him so humble and such a good sport, there's nothing better. And that community is beautiful that has supported him too. I mean, the friendships, the cracks on the back, it's incredible.
Have the two of you played doubles together? I know you've been talking singles, but do you guys play doubles together?
Yeah, so well, we do that rec wise, and we did pretty well today. We didn't lose together today, did we, Kyle?
No, we didn't.
No, and we played in
Nice.
just a club that we belong to. We played together, and we lost in the semis. And this was back in March. Also, this is when he was just really um, branching into it more, and we lost in the semis, and it was not his doo-doo, it was mine. So at the end of the day, I was exhausted. I will proudly announce that I'm 57 years old. He's 14, and I was winded, and I doinked 3 in the net, and I looked at him, I'm like, "I am awful right now," and he's like, "It's okay. It's okay. It's okay." So I bear that responsibility for that loss, but to have made it in the semis in that with friends against other people that we've known for several months. It was wonderful. And we're going to do more when we sign up for tournaments. Obviously, we'll do some mixed stuff together if you'll have me, Kyle.
I will gladly have you as a partner.
Aw. Well, then you two will definitely have to come back on and let us know how the duo is going and how many tournaments you've won, because I'm predicting a lot of wins between the two of you for sure.
Thank you. We shall see.
Yeah. I'm
So
curious. Go ahead, Bridgie.
oh yeah, sorry about interrupting. Kyle, I was wondering too, because you had played baseball before kind of transitioning into pickleball. Was there anything from baseball skill wise that you were able to apply to playing pickleball?
I think it was a lot of mental stuff that I was able to transfer to pickleball. I was able to transfer my knowledge of how to stay calm in pressure situations. And I think that's helped me a lot from baseball to carry that on to pickleball. But skill wise, I think when you're swinging a bat, you need to be able to carry your weight forwards, same when you throw. And that's helped me hitting ground strokes.
And what about that footwork that you had at second base, which is why you're so fast and cover me so beautifully when I sometimes miss that shot and you're behind me and you still get it back over the net?
Yes, footwork has helped me a lot from baseball.
Well, I can totally relate because I used to play second base in baseball, and the footwork definitely is something similar to, turning double plays and getting your feet in the right spot and getting your body in the right spot. So it actually, reminds me of when I used to play baseball and wiffle ball with my dad growing up. And it was one of those things that totally brought us closer together. Sports in general brought my dad and I a lot closer together. Do you find that pickleball has brought the two of you? It sounds like you're very close anyway, but do you find that pickleball has even closened the relationship even more between the two of you?
Kyle, you answer that first, and then I have a
I
question.
really think that it has brought us closer together. We have a great time on the court together, and we may bicker a few times on the court, but the majority of the time we always enjoy ourselves, always laugh on the court, and just have a great time. And I'm glad that my mom is always out there with me having a good time.
I'm extremely close with both Kyle and his twin Jordan. She's my softball player. She's a pitcher. She mows everybody down when pitching. Um, I became a parent to be involved, and so while we were close beforehand, whether it was coaching his baseball or coaching Jordan softball, and now pickleball, this has certainly enhanced that closeness. Um, but it existed already, and this is just sort of icing on that beautiful closeness to begin with. But it's such a great question, and Kyle's right. There is that natural moment or two when we bicker, um, where you can get frustrated with a partner. You try to stay positive, but I'm also in that teaching mode sometimes. So to balance that teaching mode to just playing mode or mom mode, and now I'm not mom, I'm the partner. There's a delicate dance that goes along with that, but it's incredible. The time together is superb.
That's so wonderful. And I drag my mom out there too to the courts. She's a listener, so shout out, Mom. Thanks for listening too. But pickleball, it really is such a great sport and environment to foster those types of relationships and make people closer. And that's why we do what we do and love what we love with pickleball. So, you know,
And
cheers.
like we talked earlier about the friendships in the community, it's unbelievable. And the genuine authenticity of people that play pickle and want the friendships, it's amazing. And earlier we talked about, being silly and all that. Kyle knows that when I get off the pickleball court after playing singles with him for 3 hours, you can imagine at 57 what my hips and my heels and everything feels like. And he'll hear me coming down the steps, or Jordan will hear me, "Mom, are you coming?" I'm like, "I'll be there in 20 minutes." And it's just about, 15 steps or so to get down.
Well, I totally relate, Jennifer. So yeah, 3 hours on the court, I am feeling it. I'm not even playing singles most of the time. I'm playing doubles, and 3 hours is plenty. My body is definitely telling me, yeah, you need to take a break, Uncle Greg. Uh, so Kyle, you have a twin sister. Her name's Jordan. You guys have started a website together. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Yes, so we created an organization called I'm Safe at our school, and our mission is to be to have a friendly face and give a caring way to children who may feel left out or disconnected from others. And we wear blue bracelets
Oh, nice.
so other children are able to know that we are safe and that we're able to walk them to their classes or sit with them at lunch if they're feeling left out.
Wow, that's amazing and such a great organization that you've put together. So, listeners, if you want to check it out, it's www.imsafe.space. And people can go on there and see what it's all about. Any plans for that organization moving forward to make it bigger or to grow it to a bigger community?
We would love to expand it to other schools. We'll start working more on that when the school year starts, but we're just really excited for where I'm Safe will go.
Well, good luck on that. We
Thank you.
are definitely behind, what you stand for and what you're doing for the other students. And just in general, I think that, pickleball has helped so many people with mental health in general and giving them a place to go, a safe place to go. Like you said, the community is so supportive and so friendly. Jennifer, I don't know if you want to talk about your professional background, but how do you bring, what you do for a living into, Kyle and Jordan and their upbringing, on kind of what they are putting together with, their business?
Well, I'm laughing as you say that. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I have a private psychotherapy practice. And there are days I'm a beast on the court, and someone will be like, "You're a therapist?" And I'm like, "Yes, a crazy one at times and an intense one." Um, I am a very passionate individual, and whether it's with my clients, they know my passion. Whether it's with my children, they know my passion. If I'm playing pickleball, I'm passionate. And so I bring that to most things that I do, and that intensity is within me. Hard to have that turn off. And I think that a few years ago, I tried to impress upon Jordan and Kyle that I want them to give as much of themselves to the world as possible because they're very gentle, loving, and kind children. And we were thinking about just some things to start. And because of my profession, I sort of helped guide them. Um, we know we live in a world where people, not just children, can feel left out. And how nice to know that there are other people that are out there for them. And when we were bringing it all together, I remember Kyle and Jordan were asking, well, how are the kids going to know? And that's where the idea of the bracelet came up. So if you're wearing your bracelet at school, it doesn't need to be this weird, awkward thing. Hi, can I sit with you? They know that the bracelet's on there and they can look across the room and see it and just pop at the table and say, can we sit together? So I just have always tried to give to others and also give that gift to Jordan and Kyle. I always felt that it's our responsibility to do as much in the world as possible. So, but we can, as parents, we can, you know, open the road for them, but at the end of the day, they still need to be willing and do the work. And they've both initially it was a little hard for them. They thought they'd be made fun of. So we worked through all that stuff. And I said, well, if you're being made fun of, you're tapping into something that's really needed out there. And it just brings that point home even further. So we worked through those feelings and they just they got up in front of their middle school the first week of school last year and presented to probably over 300 students their
Yeah.
organization, which was terrifying. And we practiced at home, and there were pauses, and there were stutters, and there was, as we joke, mealy mouth from nerves. And we practiced, and they did it, and they got it going, and they wore their bracelets every day, and they brought in other kids that they call to be a champion of kindness alongside them. So they've run with it, and let's hope that other schools this year are receptive to them coming in and presenting and having some students in that school lead it as part of
Right.
their organization.
Well, it's such a wonderful mission that that organization has created. And I hope nothing but the best that it comes to fruition at those other schools, because I'm sure it's just as necessary at campuses across the state. So thank you for doing the work that you do and also for contributing to the pickleball community in the ways that you do.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Before we let you go, Kyle, I gotta say that is a cool shirt you are wearing. Talk a little bit about what is on your shirt there.
So I created a logo for my pickleball brand, and it is a photo of me playing pickleball. I added colors to it, colors that I like, and my mom put it on a shirt. I have myself here, a K on the sleeve, and then I have the full logo on the back.
Yeah, with your last name on there. I love it.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is super cool.
You
So
did a
is it,
great job.
yeah, is it associated with a website or an Instagram that people can follow along your journey?
Yeah. My mom has started an Instagram page for me, Kyle Kelman Pickleball, and we're just there to post my journey through pickleball.
Wonderful.
Well, I am a follower, and I hope others follow as well.
Yes.
Thank you
We
so
always
much
love
for
your
both of you.
responses. We always love your responses, Uncle Greg.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I love whenever you got a video on there, a picture on there. I'm always following, and yeah. Hopefully, you don't get tired of my comments.
Never.
Well, thank you
Well,
so much for both of you coming on with us today.
Thank you so much for having us. I had a lot of fun today.
So did I. Incredible. Really, really great. And we're so happy that you were receptive to this. And hopefully it leads to other kids hearing this and seeing this and joining, starting their own journey, joining Kyle's journey, whatever it may be.
yes, thank you so much to the both of you. It was fantastic to hear your stories and your journey, and best of luck as you move forward into it.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna break form here. I do have one last question that I just thought of. Kyle, for other, people your age that are thinking about getting into pickleball, what would you like to tell them?
Just have fun. Don't think of it as a job or that you have to be great. Just play as you want, have fun, and stay confident in yourself, and you will do great.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad we're finishing on that note. And all of you listening, thank you for joining us on Third Shot. Bridgie and I will continue to share our pickleball journey. Special thanks to both Jennifer and Kyle Kelman for joining us today. Again, please check out Kyle's pickleball Instagram page at Kyle Kelman Pickleball. And please support this show by subscribing, on YouTube or Instagram or all the other platforms that are out there. We really appreciate it. And keep sharing your comments and your journey with us. We want to just keep growing this pickleball community together. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Third Shot Podcast.